Big, 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 big.
Big one.
Oh shoot, I was gonna look up the lyrics to their song.
Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop. Shimmy, shimmy, rock.
Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa, pop. I don't know if that's what the words are.
I met a girlfriend, a biscuit. She said a Triscuit, a
A
biscuit.
biscuit.
Ice cream, soda pop, vanilla on the top. Ooh, Shalita, walking down the street. Maybe the only song I know all the lyrics to.
You know all the lyrics. This is amazing.
Yeah, this is it. Shimmy, shimmy, go up. Shimmy, shimmy, rock. Shimmy, shimmy, go up. Shimmy, shimmy, rock. I met a girlfriend, a biscuit.
A
She said a
Trisket.
Triscuit, a biscuit. Ice cream, soda pop, vanilla on the top. Ooh, Shalita, walking down the street 10 times a week. I met it. I've said it. I stole my mama's credit. I'm cool. I'm hot. Sock me in the stomach 3 more times.
Okay, we've gotta do that on the podcast. Okay.
No, that can be bonus. It's okay.
All right. Let's do this.
I got some
Oh,
good stuff that I didn't put on the one sheet because I wanted to surprise you with it. Did you
okay,
research this
amazing.
a lot?
A little bit.
Okay, well, you might already know.
Wait, just for my cold open, did you read that Robert De Niro was
Yes.
originally cast? Okay, great.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Should we clap again so you know when to come in?
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
1, 2, 3, clap,
clap. 1, 2, 3, clap.
clap.
Great. Believe it or not, Tom Hanks, now the only member of the Perfect Movie Six Timers Club, was cast in the quintessential man boy comedy everyone was talking about in 1987, Against Type. Director Penny Marshall had her sights set on the up and comer after Robert De Niro dropped out, but she had her doubts. To play the lead in her film, her star had to convince the audience that even though he was an adult on the outside, he was a kid on the inside. And for that, the actor had to play innocent, wide eyed, and nice. And Tom Hanks, while lauded as being a verbally assured professional with screen presence to spare, was at that point not known for playing nice. Hank's roles thus far had fallen more on the jerky end of the mean nice spectrum. And so when the casting was announced, many a single eyebrow was raised. Turns out things went fine, better than fine, as Hanks secured his first Oscar nom for the film and went on to become. Oh, turns out things went fine, better than fine, as Hanks secured his first Oscar nom for the film and went on to become known decades later as being so nice that casting him as, say, a grumpy Gus named Otto was now against type. Was it Penny Marshall's mantra on her movie set, bring it in, bring it down, that brought out America's dad's true nature and made him the icon of niceness he is today? Or is he actually a jerk and just that good? We're the two Gomers. We're talking big, and this is Perfect Movie.
Nice. Hey, let me bring up the notes.
Okay.
I forgot I have a. It's been so long, dude.
I know.
There we go. I'm sure I could do this, but. Welcome, everybody, to Perfect Movie, a podcast where two regular guys try to save the universe, one great film at a time. This is Anthony speaking, one of those two aforementioned Gomers, coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia, joined as always by my friend Steven, all the way out in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Space goes down, baby, down, down the roller coaster. Sweet, sweet,
Sweet,
baby,
sweet
sweet,
baby.
sweet. Then let me go. Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa
Shimmy, shimmy,
pop.
cocoa
Shimmy,
pop.
shimmy,
Shimmy, shimmy,
rock.
rock.
Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop. Shimmy, shimmy,
Shimmy,
rock.
shimmy, rock. I met a girlfriend, a
A
biscuit.
Trisket.
She said a Triscuit, a
A
biscuit.
biscuit. Ice
Soda
cream,
pop,
soda pop,
vanilla on the
vanilla on the
top.
top.
Ooh,
Ooh,
Shalita,
shout it out.
walking down
Walking
the
down the
street
street 10 times a
10
week.
times a week. I met
I
it.
read
I
it.
said
I
it.
said
I
it.
stole
I
my
stole my
mama's
mama's
credit.
credit.
I'm
I'm
cool.
cool.
I'm hot.
I'm hot.
Sock me
Sock
in the
me in the
stomach 3 more
stomach 3 more
times.
times. I like it when he says like only then at the very last sentence does he realize sock me in the stomach 3 more times. It's you,
He's like, oh, it's you. That makes
Josh.
total sense.
Yep. They have to go through the whole song. And then he
Right.
realizes it.
And then Howard Shore comes in.
Mm.
He's like, you look terrible. Billy. I mean, okay, so I don't know if in the edit I was able to fix us singing just now or rapping or whatever that is.
Probably not.
Uh,
Is that a
but
rap?
this
It's their rap together.
I don't
It's like a
okay.
chant. No,
Well,
it's a
so
it's like a playground song or whatever, right?
yeah, I apparently it was like it was inspired by a camp song written by either Tom Hanks or his son,
Okay.
and they made it for the movie, which I love. It's an
Yeah.
original to this,
hmm
inspired by
It should have won Best Original Song that year at the Oscars, shouldn't it? I hope it was
100%.
nominated
Want to see Tom Hanks and Billy do that. Uh,
live. You mean at
but
the ceremony?
Billy's got some cool hair in this, right?
I
It's
love
interesting.
Billy.
Yep.
What was that actor's name? I don't even know.
Billy the Kid. It is Jared Rushton.
Yeah,
He was in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, right?
love him. I
Yep.
think his name is Russ in that movie.
I think that's his brother.
His older brother's Russ, maybe
Older brother's Russ.
like the
Yeah.
handsome brother. I
Yep.
remember that I didn't know what tubular meant, and he says tubular in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which I saw when I was in the theaters in Austria, and I was like, cool word, dude.
Whoa, America
Tubular.
must be amazing. I want to go there someday.
Father, may we go back to the United States, please? I
Where
want to say
everything
tubular.
is tubular and everybody's taking French class.
I get it. French class.
Yeah.
Great actor. I love that kid. And
Yep,
a
he's
really
so
like
good.
yeah, a natural these 80s kids movies. This isn't a kids movie. What I'm saying is kid actors in the 80s just what was it about the directors or producers where they were just like just act like you're a kid?
Yeah,
And they
like
do.
what? So we had Goonies, we had
Right.
I mean that's one of
E.T.
our favorite. Yep, E.T. Others?
Space Camp.
Space Camp.
Does
Okay,
Space Camp
Joaquin
count?
Leaf
Joaquin
Phoenix.
Leaf is really I mean, he's killing it in that movie.
Yep, with Jinx. You're right. Like so many of the movies that were huge
Mm-hmm.
and huge for us
Mm-hmm.
were like had kids in them. Are there movies with kids in them now that we love?
Well, I'm sure there
There's
are.
Sixth Sense, but that was 90s.
Yeah. I mean, of course, there's always going to be movies. I guess maybe I'm like being like too old of a grump right now, but I feel like it was kids in the 80s were just allowed to be kids more in the movies. And I think we see that with Billy. And when he's with young Josh,
Yep.
it's great dynamics these two kids have. And of course, when he's with Tom Hanks playing young Josh.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. And Billy is an amazing character. He's like that. We were just talking about being a non-anxious presence, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Billy is that for Josh because it's fun. Like, I feel like if this had happened to Billy, it would be so different than this happened to Josh. Because Billy, he would be like, I'm going to New York. Let's get out of here. He's like, I don't want to go back. You know, like all Josh wants is to be big. And then he's like, all he wants is to go home. I think Billy would be like, I'm out.
It's a pretty clever thing they do there where the child actor is leading around Tom Hanks, and so you buy him maybe quicker as the younger of the two.
Yes, that's so good.
Super good.
And like he's the one that introduces him to New York, brings him to New York, gets money for him, gets clothes for him. Like he kind of like is in the hero's journey, sort of like the mystic that helps him, you know, launch or whatever. He's the Yoda almost.
Yeah,
you know what I
mean?
mean?
And Zoltar.
Totally.
Yeah, what they should do is, or should have done, is do Big 2, even bigger, where Billy gets the big wish.
Yes,
and he's now big, and Josh has to lead him through. But never mind. I like it as a standalone. Of course, we're doing big today. By the way, welcome to Perfect Movie. Our first movie back after my surgery. We talked a lot about that on the main feed if people want to hear that, but we're back.
We're back, and we said we were going to do Wayne's World. We punted that to
Hmm.
another time.
Yep.
This was actually my request. I was like, dude, I watched Big with the girls like a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago.
Yep.
I had a hankering, and it slapped. Like it hit so hard. We had the most fun family movie night.
Love it.
We fast forwarded the sex scene.
Right. Which we'll probably have to strike, I
Yeah.
guess.
Oh yeah. Well, so I have a few strickens. I mean,
Okay.
like I actually think okay, we you just have to go with the what like suspend your disbelief and grossness because it is really weird. It's weird.
We've got a
What
Back to the Future situation on our hands
yep,
where if you think too much about the fact that his mom is in love with him,
right.
and that's sort of played off as funny and almost like sexy.
Yeah, like she
That
tries to
movie.
make out with him. She likes his underwear. Total. I
They
mean, like
they
that's
I mean they purposefully cast a beautiful young actress that I
right.
mean they actually look good together, Michael J. Fox and Leah Thompson.
I know they probably. I'm sure they did casting where they like which couple looks the best, and it's like those two look incredible.
They are married in Back to the Future Part 3 for some reason. Michael J.
Yeah,
Fox and
yeah, I
Leah
know.
Thompson.
Also, what?
What a weird choice that is. Yeah.
Yeah,
So there is that. I think that people might say this one is more of an
yeah,
egregious
yeah,
move on this movie's part.
totally. So we just need to strike that, and not haphazardly. Like this is the '80s.
Mm-hmm.
PG '80s was weird. The '80s were a weird time or
Mm-hmm.
something. But I
Yeah.
mean, like what we're talking about is a 35-year-old woman and a 13-year-old kid. Like, boy,
Yeah.
that's terrible.
I read he was originally 12,
Okay.
and then Penny Marshall
Uh huh.
said he's not only not 12, he's 13. He's also a Jew.
What?
And so
What?
he's
That's a
he's a man. Like he
okay.
has he has had his bar
he's
mitzvah.
he's the bar mitzvah. Okay. No way. I
Yes,
did
I
not
read
read
this
that.
on one of these mental floss
Oh,
10
that is
facts
so
things
funny.
where she was like, he's not she would be like, he's not 12, he's 13.
He's 13 and he's been bar mitzvahed and he's
And
a man.
in Judaism, he's a man.
Okay, well, it,
Sort of. I would say, okay, sort of. It
yeah,
gets me there, but yeesh.
that goes back to our Bible time knowledge. People were
Mm.
getting married in their teens, right? Like, don't we
Yeah,
think
I
Mary
guess
was
so. But
super
this was the
young?
1980s, so it's creeptastic. And
Yes,
I was,
it's
what movie
totally.
was I watching the other day? Oh, Twins.
Also
Just
came out in 1988. These were in the theaters at the same time, dude.
and also owns. That movie is so good. But Danny DeVito at some point says that he lost his virginity at 12 to a nun,
Right. Yeah, that's right. Oh gosh.
which is just like this. Is it funny? Is it horrible? Oh,
Yeah.
gotta laugh at our house.
Yeah.
So yeah, I then you have like Twilight. So
Mm,
I think what's his name in Twilight? He shimmers like a diamond.
Edward.
Yeah, Edward is
Yeah.
like 90
Right. Yep.
and he's in love with Kristen Stewart, who is a 16-year-old.
Uh yeah.
But I think that that age difference somehow is better than 13 to 35.
Yep. Well, it's weird. Okay, so we just need to strike that and yeah.
I'm sure we'll talk about it again, but we'll try to move on.
No,
Okay.
we have to move on because if you think about that too hard, just like Back to the Future, it ruins the movie. We
Yes.
have to go back to I'm 9 and you're 10 and we're watching this perfect movie. Perfect doesn't mean flawless, right? It means
Yep.
perfect to us. So
Yeah.
put yourself in a 9, 10. I watched it with a 7 and 11-year-old
Yep.
and Aaron, so that needs to be stricken. It wouldn't be made again. We'll talk about in the casting, like, other
Yeah.
cast choices.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that would actually cause this ultimately not to get made today.
Yes.
Um,
Are you
hold
talking
on,
about how Deborah
hold on.
Winger wanted
Let
it
me
to be a
start.
woman?
Hold on, let me start this over.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about, like, in the other cast choices, like, probably even a, I don't know, considerably worse way to do this.
Yes. So can I just say what I read, which is that Deborah Winger wanted Penny Marshall to make it a girl.
Yes. So original cast for
And
this with
Penny Marshall was
both,
like, "No way could I get away with it if the genders were reversed." Which
right.
I don't quite know what to do with that, but I completely agree.
Yep. No, you're right. Like, even in the 80s, you're like, yeah, I can't even say it out loud.
No.
35-year-old man,
Nope.
that is totally egregious.
Nope.
Yes.
Never.
And why that is a double standard, I guess, right? I don't
I
know.
don't
I
know. Is
feel
it? It's
uncomfortable even.
confusing to me. This whole
I,
thing is confusing to me because I love this movie so much, and
I know.
we can strike it. I guess what I want to say is that if I won't be surprised if people are like, "I know you struck it, but I can't vote for this as perfect because of that." I get it.
Sure.
Um,
Yep.
I will tell you when I saw it when I was whatever 9, 10,
Yep.
that scene was skipped.
Oh.
Like I think here's my Julie can probably correct me if I'm wrong. We used to get movies taped on video from friends in the States when we lived in
Mhm.
Austria, and sometimes those movies were edited.
Sure. Okay.
And I think when I saw Big, that scene was not in it.
Okay. I think
And
that's absolutely fine.
uh I
I
think
mean,
it should be edited out.
yes. Okay. I'm with you there. Absolutely.
And I did hear that there's some confusion about whether or not they actually slept together. I don't think so.
Right.
I think it's pretty obvious.
No, you see the day after he's become a man, he's like got
That's
a
why.
suit on. He's like, "All right." He slaps the guy's
That's it.
hand. He's like, "I'll have coffee black." Right? Like, that's the hinge point of, like, he doesn't he like she's like, "Well, you don't drink coffee." He's like, "I do now." Like,
Yeah. So not even the actual
100%.
intimacy scene. I would
Uh-huh.
say the morning after is the proof to me that that happened, and it's
Sure.
just gross. We get it. Now, my dad just recently saw Big, I think like a couple years ago, and he was like, "Oh, there's something I really hated about it." And I was like, "Oh, of course, it's because of that scene."
Uh-huh.
And his stricken is he hates kidnapping plots.
Mm,
So he couldn't get over how devastated he would be if he was Josh's mom.
sure.
And I think they sort of deal with that with that he's calling her and writing her letters. There's that funny letter writing scene which I think is
Yeah.
really sweet and actually
So fun.
takes a lot
Yeah.
of that tension out for me. But that's
Mhm.
what he couldn't get over, and I know he would strike that.
I got it. Okay, so that's actually on my list of stricken. So I struck all weird sex stuff.
Get it
Super
all out of there.
glad they didn't kiss at the end. So that's great. Like,
Well,
when
yes,
she learns that he was 13, nothing happens after that.
that's one of my evidences. If we weren't going to strike it, which we have struck it,
Okay.
but if that was still in the movie, I would say that kiss on the forehead at the end
Yep.
almost covers the sin.
Hmm. Okay.
Because it is not because actually she's responding to it the way a real person would respond to it,
Yeah, okay.
which is now that I know this, there is no way I'm going back to that crap.
Yeah. Okay.
That's right. He comes in for a kiss on the lips. She kisses him on the forehead.
Got it. Okay. I
Genius.
love that. That's
Yep.
great. Now, wasn't he also 30 to 35 though in real, like, I don't know.
What do you mean?
Like, he was a 30-year-old man. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So you could argue about no, it's okay because he was.
Right.
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
not go down there. So
Okay.
I
Great.
struck all weird sex stuff. I
Great.
love your point. Also, when she drives off, does she go to therapy? Does she go to like like the scene from Ace Ventura, just starts throwing up,
Yeah.
Tinkle
Or
an
it's
einhorn.
I think we were talking about this with Sleepless in Seattle too. Like when the elevator doors close Are they like, wait a minute, what are we doing?
Wait, what?
What just
Huh?
happened? This is
Yeah, like
insane.
totally. Like we just met. Okay, two more Strickens real quick.
Yeah.
I wrote the kidnapping subplot just disappears.
Yeah, they do come back to it. I really think again, that last scene when he's got his dad's or the big suit on, right? And he
Yep.
runs in and you hear her off camera,
Uh-huh.
ADR, how
Yep.
happy she is coming in. But to a
Yeah.
certain extent, they have to get your mind off of that. You're right. It
Yep.
does disappear.
Yep. So I'm with your dad on the kidnapping. I, yeah, that could have been written differently. Although the
I don't know
memories line
how he
is
died.
just disappeared or something.
He never was. No, that wouldn't work because he's got to have
No,
that Billy connection. He's got to have
no,
Billy in his life.
dude. I heard one person say, except for one time when Billy talks to the mom,
Yeah.
like maybe Billy is just a figment of his imagination because he never interacts without the cut scenes with anybody
Okay.
else.
Wow. Okay.
But
He interacts with what's her face with
yes,
Susan
later.
by the
So
cab.
with Susan at the end when he's like, girlfriend, oh,
But
like,
doesn't that seem weird because he hasn't talked to anybody yet besides her?
because they're
That's
always
weird.
just.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess they go to the pizza restaurant, which is a great scene. There's so
Oh,
many
I
great scenes in this
love
movie.
Pizza Restaurant.
My last stricken,
Yes.
other than the other stricken before the last stricken would be Billy is constantly going to New York, and there's like a kidnapping investigation with the kid next door. So like that day, remember he's like, I gotta be home by 10. It's like, dude, your best friend next door was just kidnapped, and you still have a curfew. You know,
They're probably wondering where you are.
yeah. And were you
Yeah.
with Josh or his
Right.
kidnapper?
Yep.
Last stricken would be no social security number. And so
Oh,
how did he get paid? How did he get approved for that?
right. Doesn't he
You
like
know,
make it up and then they're like, you're missing a number? Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
1-2.
Even in the 80s, I think you needed an actual social security number to get paid for
Yeah.
a job.
Well, and to get that apartment too.
Well,
So
that apartment is almost in the When Harry Met Sally stricken verse, where
okay,
it's like, how does that apartment even
sure,
exist?
sure. So
Great apartment though.
yeah, that may fall in my evidence of this movie for a 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, like the ages, like just a wish fulfillment movie.
Dude, the first two words on my this rivals Harry Potter for wish fulfillment.
Wow.
I
Okay.
would say so.
Yeah.
That's my first. We got, let's. I mean,
Okay.
okay. Let's do one because I've already said two of my evidences.
Okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's a good. Okay,
I have more.
so
I have more.
oh yeah. Okay, Big came out June 3rd,
Yeah.
1988. Running time of 1 hour and 44 minutes. There's an extended cut of 2 hours and 10 minutes. Terrible. Don't ever watch that.
Right. You've talked about this for years.
Yeah, so that's going to come
Wait, you
up in
have
the
88?
evidence.
I thought it was 87. I mean, I trust you, of course, because it's on the one sheet. That's
Oh,
weird though.
you know what?
Maybe I was seeing that was being filmed in 87.
That might be it because this is according to IMDb, and then I have the 88 box offices here, and
Okay.
it's in
No,
there.
I'm seeing
so-
88. I'm seeing 88 everywhere.
Okay.
Okay. You're right.
All right.
Forget what I said in the cold open. It was 1988, not 1987.
Oh, do you want to go
I'm
back
not
and fix it, or-
re-recording that.
Okay. All right. Budget of $18 million. Gross at the box office 115 million US,
Huge hit.
151 worldwide. Huge hit. It did garner 2 Academy Award nominations, as you said in the cold open. Best Original Screenplay by Gary Ross and Anne Spielberg, sister of Steven Spielberg.
Sister, yeah.
And sister. And then Best Actor for Tom Hanks. He lost to Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man.
Mm.
Other movies around the same time: Who Framed Roger Rabbit,
Come on.
amazing. Coming to America. Some of
Hilarious.
note for me of this time that I rewatched a million times were 3 Men and a Baby.
Mm.
That was of this list. A
Yeah,
lot of the other ones I watched Twins, Three Men and a Baby, Big, and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. The rest are like rewatches as an adult.
really. Okay. Yeah.
So
I
like,
mean, Moonstruck I didn't come to until I was an adult.
yep,
Fish Called Wanda, not
yep.
until I was an adult. Cocktail, not until I was adult. I mean,
I
Willow was big for
love
me.
Cocktail, dude.
Yeah, Cocktail's
I
pretty
don't know.
good.
I love it.
It's pretty
It
good.
I that the 80s vibes in that. Dang. So
Yep,
good.
that's super
Yep,
good.
Willow.
Willow is big for me. I watched Rain Man when I was that age.
Okay, I totally didn't.
I don't know why. Also, why did I
Hmm.
watch Fatal Attraction so much? Just
Oh
kidding. I didn't.
man.
I
Like when
didn't.
you were okay.
No, that's a joke.
Maybe the one that slaps most to me right now.
Yes.
Um, dude, I'm telling you, Wall Street.
Wall Street. I haven't seen Wall Street for
Man,
20 years,
it's
probably. I should
it's on
rewatch.
HBO.
Okay.
The top like opening scene of a movie,
Mm.
New York City,
Mhm.
sepia, whatever that is.
Yep.
Frank Sinatra, people going to work. It's the morning in Manhattan. It is
Kirk
like,
Douglas, right?
yep, Kirk Douglas,
With those
Martin Sheen, Charlie
suspenders.
Sheen.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay, I'll have to rewatch.
James Spader.
Really? Oh, a young
Yeah,
James Spader. Handsome
yeah,
dude.
it's
Wow.
really good. I
Okay.
love it.
What do you think about Good Morning Vietnam? You as a Robin Williams
Only
stan.
yeah. I only watched it once, and I remember being kind of like, oh, that was cool. I don't remember almost anything about it.
What I remember, and I've only seen it once, is that there's one funny scene when
Okay.
he's being the radio guy, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like so typical Robin Williams. I'm sure there's like 9 hours of film
Yeah.
of him doing that
Good. Yeah.
three,
For sure.
3 minute scene.
Uh-huh.
And then the rest is kind of depressing.
Yeah, I remember being like, "Oh yay, a Robin Williams movie!" Wee, and it's like, nope, totally wasn't. That's all I remember.
I mean, I think it's highly regarded. I've only seen it the one time.
Is that a who did that? Like it's a serious movie.
Yeah.
We
It's like
like,
Dead Poets, right? Where it's like Robin Williams is
yeah.
funny in it, but also real serious. Good Will Hunting
I
is like
think,
that too.
dude, I think he
Um,
was an incredible actor.
I
I
really like him as a dramatic actor.
Yes, I mean, uh, Dead Poet Society, Good Will
Dead Poet
Hunting.
Society.
What
Yep.
was it? Eight 8 minute or 10 minute photo.
Eight,
What was that?
12
8 hour.
hour photo, 8 hour photo, something like that. He's scary in that
Yeah,
one, right?
he's like, that was. I remember being creeped out by that one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyways,
couple other quick
great
things.
movie year.
Yes, couple other quick things from the one sheet. Rotten Tomatoes. This gets a 98% critic. That's amazing.
People love it.
82% audience. Should have watched Siskel and Ebert. I usually like to do that.
Oh, bummer, yeah.
But the main thing I wanted to mention before we go in is
Yes.
other cast choices, and I wrote C notes just in case you hadn't researched this.
Okay, let's hear it. I saw
Okay.
Robert De Niro, obviously.
Yeah, so originally this like became a thing because I guess originally they actually wanted Tom Hanks or something and he couldn't do it. So
Okay.
Robert De Niro signed on,
Mhm.
which then made everybody be like, "Oh, that's a serious, legit movie."
Right. Gave it some
Then,
clout.
yup. Then he backed out. So then Deborah Winger was a possibility. Actually, no. Deborah Winger was going to be Susan to Robert De Niro, I think.
That makes a ton of sense to me.
Yes.
And actually, she would have killed it.
That would have
I
been
mean, I
cool.
like this actor. I don't know what her name is. Shoot, what's her? Oh, Elizabeth Perkins.
Oh,
And what else has she
yeah.
been in? Hold on.
Weeds. But yeah, let's pull up her.
No, not
IMDb.
Weeds. I don't think that's the other girl that looks like Elizabeth Perkins, unless she's in Weeds.
No, I'm pretty sure she's in Weeds also. And wasn't she in like a polygamy show or something like that?
She's in Sharp Objects, which is in those are all in the same family. She was in Weeds. She was also in This Is Us.
Oh yeah, yes, she was in This Is Us.
But what would I know her from
Somebody's
80s
mom.
movies? I don't know. She's in Big. She's I'm just not seeing anything I recognize her from. Oh, I know. She's in the 90s Miracle on 34th Street. That's where I recognize
That's
her
it.
from.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
Um, yeah, I think she's great. She looks like Judy Garland to me from
Oh,
uh you know, the one the one where they go over the rainbow with the
yep.
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
Even as a young boy, I thought she was related to Judy Garland, but I'm wrong.
Okay. Oh, maybe she is. Uh, yeah. So it was gonna be, I think, Bobby De Niro, Deborah Winger. Then De Niro wasn't gonna do it, so then Deborah Winger proposed the gender swap version.
Uh-huh.
Penny Marshall was like, "No way in double hockey sticks, that's gonna happen." So then here's the list I read, dude. Okay,
Okay.
John Travolta,
No.
Harrison Ford.
No.
Okay, Dennis Quaid,
Better. These
because
guys
he
look
this
too
is
old.
yes. So Dennis Quaid. This was Dennis Quaid of
Inner
the one
Space.
Inner Space. Yep.
Yeah, okay, he was that make still I just don't think he's boyish enough.
Nope. That's why none of these work. Michael Keaton, Mr.
No.
Mom-ish time.
No.
Judge Reinhold was up for it.
I love Judge Rhino. He went to Vice Versa.
Right. So he's like, I can't do that. I'll do vice versa instead.
Like
Bill
the
Murray.
poor man's Big.
Yeah, the Mac and Me to E.T. Then it was Bill Murray, Robin
Yeah.
Williams, John Goodman, and Jeff Bridges.
See, these guys seem too old to me.
I know.
And maybe it's just the case of you can't imagine anybody else doing this. But Robert De Niro, that main casting is the weirdest one to me.
No, that doesn't make any sense at all. It was just completely different movie.
Now I saw maybe Gutenberg was up for it. That I think it would work.
I forgot to write that down. I love Gutenberg.
Of anybody, he sort of has that innocence, and he's maybe because he's short. I don't know, but I think that could have worked. But it wouldn't have been as big of a hit. I don't know. He was big then.
He was. I mean, Short Circuit, Police Academy.
He was
But
cocooning it up.
Yep, Three Men and a Baby.
Three Men and a Baby. That trifecta of superstars. Danson. Who was the Gutenberg, and who was the third? Magnum PI. I can't remember his name.
PI.
Yeah.
Tom
what a mustache.
Selleck.
Tom Selleck.
Perfect mustache.
What an apartment life that must have been. Those three swinging bachelors.
Dude, those dudes, perfect mustache, perfect hair.
Perfect mural in the entryway of their apartment.
Man. So is it the fact that we grew up in the 80s that it was like we always talk about like how our era now is like so hypersexualized?
Sure.
The 80s were sexually potent.
Man, we got nothing on the 80s right now.
Like think about think about like the movies we watch now with our kids.
Yeah.
Like Harry Potter, Marvel, Star Wars. There isn't a sexual like even thought in any of those movies.
No, everyone is asexual in all those movies.
Totally. Like there's barely any romance, barely any kissing. In all of our favorite movies growing up, there's like boobs. Sorry, let me not say that. In all of our favorite movies growing up, there's like sex scenes, allusions to sex scenes.
Yeah.
Like, right?
Kids these days.
Kids these days in their music. But actually, honestly, I like that. I like that because the fact that we had to skip that because I just didn't want the girls to see that. I don't know.
No,
right?
It's 100% skippable.
And there's no need for it.
And like we said, it should be stricken because it actually pretty gross.
It's terrible. So
can I read the this thing I sent you a picture of?
Yes, get it off the shelf.
Huge find yesterday.
Yeah.
At Savers, which is a thrift store out here.
Mm-hmm.
The actual VHS. Where else are you going to see a picture like that? The cover is just a extreme close-up.
Yep.
Tom Hanks, big. Just kind of like, what is this smile he's giving? He's a little bit, it's just this boyish.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Reading through that casting, alternate casting. Nobody is that.
Yeah,
This movie
imagine
is
this
Tom
with
Hanks.
Travolta. No, thank you.
No, this is Tom Hanks or nobody.
John Goodman? Yeah, right.
Yep. Jeff Bridges, I love 80s Jeff Bridges.
Oh, and that list you read, I like all those dudes, but they wouldn't
Yeah,
have worked
but
in this.
Harrison Ford?
That is the
Like,
dumbest.
like this is after Return of the Jedi Harrison Ford.
The problem with Harrison Ford is he's way too handsome. That's my
You're
issue with
right.
Harrison Ford. Is
Right.
you can't Harrison Ford can't disappear into a crowd
Yeah, he
or just
doesn't
be
go
like a
in.
regular guy.
Yeah, sit next to John Lovitz and like data entry. Like,
Like if he sat next to John Lovitz would like pop out of existence. He would just disappear. Okay, let me read the back of this box. The get there's a lot of visually iconic moments in this movie. Take a
mhm.
guess on what the one picture they have is on the back of the box.
Carnival?
Almost. It's
Piano?
also yes, piano.
Okay.
Great guess. Yep, him and Loja.
I
Robert
love
Loja.
Robert Loggia, dude. I so I watched Scarface like
Mhm.
8-10 months ago,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, the boss from Big, yay!" And I was like, "Whoa, dang, dude, this movie."
He also plays the mean, evil grandpa and Over the Top. Uh,
Oh yeah.
and and he has some sort of like spray tan, so he is straight up orange in that movie,
Okay.
and I love it. Okay,
Nice.
Tom Hanks. Oh, this is the back of the box. Tom Hanks won raves for his Oscar-nominated performance as a 12-year-old boy. That's wrong. He's 13.
There we
Trapped
go.
inside a 30-year-old body. Actually, no, wait. He's 12, and he has a birthday. I don't
You're
know, Penny
right.
Marshall. He was
No,
12
no,
at the beginning.
no, you're right though. They make a point
Uh huh.
to say he had a birthday, and
Yep.
she's like you got a haircut or something. He's like, I haven't gotten a haircut in a long time. Yep.
So I
And they
guess
had a
12 at the
birthday
beginning,
party.
but 13 during that one scene. Okay.
Wait, it's on his birthday that he goes out with her.
Right.
Okay.
Ew. Okay.
Wait, but
A
he wouldn't
12
have had
year
a bar
old boy.
mitzvah.
He didn't have a bar
He
mitzvah.
didn't have a bar mitzvah. He was with them on the birthday.
Unless there's a cut scene where Tom Hanks has a bar mitzvah. I don't think I saw this.
Okay. Sorry.
A 12-year-old boy trapped inside a 30-year-old body in director Penny Marshall's winning comedy. I also read that it was the first movie by a female director to crack 100 million
Wow.
US. So that's cool.
Amazing.
At a carnival, young Josh Baskin wishes he was big, only to awaken the next morning and discover he is! Exclamation point.
Mm-hmm.
With the help of his friend Billy, Jared Rushton, Josh lands. That's cool that he gets a call out on the back of the box. Josh lands
Yeah.
a job at a toy company. There, his inner wisdom enables him to successfully predict what children want to buy, making the awestruck, naive Josh irresistible to a beautiful ladder climbing colleague, Elizabeth Perkins. But
Mm.
the more he experiences being an adult, the more Josh longs for the simple joys of childhood. Good news, everyone. It's in color. 104 minutes, PG.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it would have gotten a PG today. It's an 80s PG, as we've
It's
said
an 80.
before. 80s PG.
Yeah. Well, an 80s PG is before PG-13 is the standard.
Right.
So PG means it's racy
Mm-hmm.
then, right?
Yes. And
Racier.
PG-13 means it's violent or gory, I would say.
Right.
So you have to I guess you had to do more research in the 80s, but how would you? There was no internet.
Right.
You have to ask your friend. You have to
Yep.
ask your friend, does a 13-year-old have sex with a 30-year-old in this movie? Oh, okay. That's why it's rated PG.
That's why it's not G.
All right, dude. We should go to the trial.
All right.
I cannot wait to talk more about this movie. Let's do it.
Great. All right.
Claps?
Yep. Was that too much sexual talk?
I don't know. You can listen through it and cut out anything.
All right. All right, let's clap. 1, 2, 3, clap.
Clap. 1, 2, 3, clap.
Clap. Was mine delayed?
A little bit. Not bad.
Yours was a little worse than normal.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Oh, you got to say, all rise.
All rise.
Hey, how's it going over there? I wish I was big too. Man, that'd be so cool. Zoltar, can you make that happen? Oh, jeez.
Kind of genius that it's called Big and that he wishes to be big instead of old.
Yep. Perfect title.
Because he doesn't wish to be old.
Right.
I don't actually think he wants to be older when he wishes that with Zoltar, because isn't the reason he wishes that because he couldn't get on the roller coaster?
Yeah, so the inciting incident
Mm-hmm.
is Cynthia Benson. And he wants to ride that roller coaster with her.
Right.
And he can't.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, he could have said, Zoltar, I want to be tall enough to ride that ride. Right.
Right.
Like, I want to be big. That was the inciting incident. But he got way more than he bargained for. So Zoltar is very generous.
Or whoever is behind Zoltar.
Yeah.
I mean, is it Zoltar himself or is it some cosmic force that
Yeah.
likes to play with the emotions of young children and
Yeah.
teach them
Like,
lessons?
is Zoltar in the same universe as like Family Man,
Right.
the agency or whatever that they talk about in
Or
that?
right, or whatever is causing the Groundhog Day to go
Mhm.
over and over again. What is that force? Or that is like visiting Scrooge
Uh-huh.
3
Yep.
times.
Dude,
There's
that
this
is
movie story force, lesson teaching force.
what about that as a story idea? Like you go into this room and you see like all of those.
Ooh, yeah, it's
Like,
like the Avengers of grumpy
yeah.
men that learned lessons from some sort of
Yeah.
movie force. Now, they actually do that a little bit in there's a new Will Ferrell movie this
Oh,
past
the
Christmas,
Christmas one?
Spirited.
Mhm.
And in that one, and it's a pretty good idea. The Scrooge story was not just a 1-year occurrence. There's
Mm,
actually there's like a supernatural company that does it every year.
interesting.
Um,
Okay.
so it's sort of like that, but I kind of like the idea where Tom Hanks is in there. Um, they're all in there together. People that
Nick
people that have
Cage,
yeah, Nick
Bill
Cage is in
Murray.
there. Bill Murray twice because he was Scrooge once also, but now he's also the Groundhog Day guy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hopefully they've all learned the lessons, and then they have to team up to teach one more lesson
Yeah, get get the glove with all the jewels in it.
and punch like Ryan Reynolds or something into a
Yeah.
lesson learned.
Yeah.
Um, so okay. Anyways, the title's great because he's not. He gets. You're right. He gets more than he bargained for. He gets older. He gets
Mhm.
bigger too, but he gets older.
Yep.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Love it. Okay, here we are in the trial. Obviously, we like this movie.
Love it.
Love this movie. And that's what we do every month on Perfect Movie. We pick a movie we love, we talk through it, we act as its defense counsel and present evidence to try to prove to each other and to you, the listener, that this movie is not only good, it's perfect. When we're done, we each get a vote. Me and Anthony do one apiece. The collective listener gets a vote. If y'all vote 75% yes, then that also becomes a yes. If there are 3 yays, it is perfect. We load it onto the holodeck, send it to Con. And he's like, I'm not going to put those bugs in their ears. I'm not going to be mean. I like the world again. He's converted into a fine gentleman,
Mhm.
and the universe is that closer to being saved.
Oh. Last night at the
Hmm.
Atlanta Symphony Hall,
Yeah.
that was shown as a movie hosted by William Shatner.
He was there
Mm-hmm.
and he showed Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, our next movie that we're going to do on Perfect
Yep.
Movie.
Yep.
Oh man, I wish I could have gone.
I know, me too. It was sold out. And it wasn't one that we played, it was just one that we showed.
It was just,
Like-
but it was in the hall that you perform in.
Yeah, like we had our rehearsal yesterday afternoon, and they were like, "We're striking the stage because William Shatner is about to take it."
And
I was
he
like,
doesn't want anything on stage with him.
Yeah, it was just 2 chairs
Mm-hmm.
and a table and a
Wow.
huge screen.
Wow, that sounds
I was like,
awesome.
man, I wanted to go to that, but we had other things to do. So
Yeah. Well, Star Trek 2, we're going to talk more about that next month.
can't wait.
Finally.
Yes.
One of those movies we've been talking about for 15 years, 14
Yep.
years.
Yep.
And
we've
we're finally
never done
going
a
to
Star
talk
Trek.
to Right, never done a Star Trek, and Khan is our evil alien
Yeah.
this season. So it's all
Yep.
sorts of synergy.
Perfect.
Now we're 2 for 2 so far this year.
Mhm.
Empire Strikes Back and Iron Giant both are going up.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Big gets up there. I
Yep.
think this might be a tougher sell. I don't know.
This might be, and we kind of leading into the Strickens maybe a little too hard. Maybe if we hadn't
Maybe.
done that, people wouldn't have thought about it so much.
Just ignore it. Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like it's kind of a obvious thing in there that we needed to address, but I think we should
Okay.
move on from it.
Good.
And talk about what we think makes this movie perfect. We both already revealed, or I revealed one of my, and now I don't have the sound. You're gonna have to put
Ooh,
it in.
I'll get it.
Okay. You can edit this out.
Yep. Oh, come on. Okay, here we go.
What's going on? So we both already said those 2 magic words: wish fulfillment.
Yep.
And I really do think it gets this right. He does get more than he bargained for when he wishes to be big,
Yep.
and it takes him a while. But then, dude, when he starts making money
Mm-hmm.
and he gets that apartment and he fills it with
Yeah.
toys
Yep.
and he works at a toy company.
Oh, I mean, okay, so this movie is like, I don't know who the target audience was for this.
Yeah.
You know, like, I guess
Sure.
maybe it was more just broad general. We're making a movie and whoever likes it likes it. I don't know. I'm sure there's
Right,
marketing
yeah.
people that think of stuff like that. All I know is that I was
Hold on, wait. My thing stopped recording because
oh
my
no problem.
AirPod switched. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Go to 48:15.
Okay.
Can you go to that?
Yep, I'm doing it right on. And then I'm gonna make sure. Can I just make sure it's recording? Check 1 2, check 1 2, check. It is. Okay. 48:15.
48:15 even.
Got it.
All right, let's stop there. Or let's start there. I mean, ready?
Okay. Yep.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, click. Rolling.
Yep.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, clap.
Clap. 1 2 3, clap.
Clap.
Okay, you were
right.
starting to talk about when it really gets
Yep.
going, the wish fulfillment.
All I know is I was 10,
Mhm.
11. I mean, and I don't know if I saw it in 88. Maybe I saw it, you know, a couple years later or something.
Probably
Maybe I
me
saw it
too.
on
Yep.
video
Mhm.
or something like that. But everything about it, like Independence, going to New York City
Yeah.
to a Howard Shore score. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
The toy company. I didn't care about the Super Bowl without the ads, but I loved the idea of somebody, you know, brought in snacks and then could
Yeah.
do a unique video, and you know, like
I love that. Yep.
the friendship, hanging at a fun hotel, eating pizza.
Yep.
Venture.
Spraying each other with silly string.
Totally.
They do a good job of not getting there right away. Like, there is kind of a terror of what has happened. Part of it's kind of hard to watch because his mom doesn't recognize him, and they have to make up this kidnapping cover. Uh, but when they first go to New York City, and it's that nasty Times Square
Yep.
pre-Giuliani.
St. James, Josh, it's religious.
So I don't know if you remember this, but I've stayed in the St. James Hotel.
Oh yeah.
So when we went in 2017, my family and me, we booked 5 days in the St. James.
Like that actual hotel?
That actual hotel. Obviously, it has
Okay.
been redone,
Uh-huh.
but you could tell it was that lobby.
Really?
Yes. It was not actually a very good hotel. The
Yeah.
walls were pretty thin.
Yeah.
I guess anywhere you're gonna be in Manhattan, you're gonna hear what's going on outside pretty well. But
Yep.
it was pretty hard to sleep in there because it was so friggin' loud.
Yep.
So it was just a hotel we could afford, and I looked at the pictures online. I was like, oh, this looks better than Big when it was
Uh-huh.
in Big. And it
Yep.
probably isn't the same hotel anyway, but it totally was. And it's like right there on Times Square, like about a block away.
Yeah, that's what rules. Because you
Yep.
can just walk right out and
The
you're
location.
there. Uh-huh.
Yes. But yeah, when they're walking through, like, and there's triple X theaters and like drunks everywhere, and then that scene, especially when he's crying.
Mm-hmm.
What a scene.
That's really good acting. Like you can so there's so many moments where you can feel him being 12, 13 years old.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, like the suspension of disbelief is really good.
Mm-hmm.
That you like he looks like a 30-year-old man,
Yep.
but you believe he's David Moscow. And I was researching and reading about this that they would have David Moscow like do scenes.
That's young Josh.
That's
Okay.
young the actor that plays young Josh,
Mm-hmm.
so that he could like see how it looked, like
Oh, he
how a
would do
kid
Tom
would.
Hanks's scenes.
Yeah. So like I
Wow.
guess there were scenes that he did with Elizabeth Perkins, so it's just specifically so that Tom Hanks could like watch and be like, what would this look
Right.
like size wise, like
Yep.
just like the body language, things like
Mm-hmm.
that, so that he could try to do that. So I like you can totally empathize with this guy that's super scared. It is kind of
Mm-hmm.
dumb that he went to New York. That was dumb. No, he
I don't
went.
know why
Yes,
they
he
go.
went there.
Yeah, you're right. Why do they? Well, they go to try to find they go to try to find the machine, don't they? Is that why they
Yeah, they.
go?
Yeah, it's like all answers lie in New York, right? It's like we
Right.
can't
Yeah.
like. I mean, yeah,
You can't hide in my
there's
room and we can write a letter. We have to go to New York City and
yeah,
stay in a
yeah,
hotel on Times Square.
yeah, exactly.
Because not only do all things happen in New York, all things happen on Times Square in New York.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it has to be there. You couldn't have
Yeah.
stayed like yeah. Um
Yeah.
yep, so that's super sad. I do think the scene is I know your dad would want to strike it and I totally get it. I do
Yeah.
think the scene when he goes in to talk to his mom while she's vacuuming and singing the
Mm-hmm.
Chattanooga Choo Choo
Yeah.
is hilarious.
Yep.
Like
I do
it's
too.
tragic, but it's also like he's scared and what he wants is mom, right?
Yes. Yep.
Like he's like, I promise it's me. Look, I made that. That's my thing. Here's my
Mm-hmm.
birthmark.
He sets it down on the shelf and smashes it by
Yep.
accident. So
Yep.
good.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that that scene, and then the one that we're talking about in the hotel where he's terrified and lies on the bed with no sheets and cries.
Mhm.
It's like it's a fun performance that he's doing, and then I think that one in particular, the first night in St. James, moves it into, is this an Oscar performance that I'm watching
Hmm.
right now?
Yep.
It just something kind of clicks over during that scene where you're like, this is so good.
Yep.
So I really like that they start with the fact that he's terrified and bumbling around, but then that wish fulfillment really kicks in. Piano, he's offered a job, and then he's so rich.
Uh-huh.
And what would you fill your apartment with? Yeah, a soda machine, a trampoline, video games, bunk beds. They get that right. Big
Yep.
balls.
Tons of balls. Uh yeah, I know. I mean, that apartment is still the dream apartment for me.
Mm-hmm.
So open. What does she say? She says, clean lines, you don't get any of that partitioned quality, ample closet space, like super high ceilings, trampoline.
Uh-huh.
You're just hanging with your friends, making tons of money. Your job is with toys.
Yeah.
And then okay, and then we gotta keep going. Okay.
Yeah.
Then he gets he has a beautiful woman, right? I mean,
Yes.
like that can't
He
not be
has a
mentioned
girlfriend.
when we're watching that. When we're like in middle school, high school, that was
Yep.
incredible, right?
Yes. Yep.
You're like, wow, that's so cool. He's got this really cool girlfriend that's
Mm-hmm.
super fun and nice and beautiful, right? Like,
Well, and yeah, that you're right about like what age group is this made for? I think part of this wasn't one of my evidences, but I do think it works for every age group because when you're a kid, you're like, wish fulfillment is toys,
yeah,
right? When
right.
you're an adolescent, high school, college, you're like, oh, it would be cool to have like a rad girlfriend
Uh huh.
who's into me and fun and uh
Yep.
eh, then I think at this age I'm like wish fulfillment, not me necessarily, but sort of me, but I would assume that for an adult, wish fulfillment is having a job you
Totally.
like
Like,
this like, working with toys.
is it like going backwards? Like you're like, oh, like actually being big is like actually isn't isn't always that fun,
Right, yeah.
right?
Yep. Wouldn't it be cool to be an adult and still have fun?
Hmm.
There's also that like being discovered. We've talked about that before. There
Yeah.
is like he's discovered as a genius of toys. That's
Yeah.
also wish fulfillment there.
Yes.
I love it.
Oh, totally. So that, I don't want to chunk in on that, but I do think top iconic scenes,
Mm-hmm.
piano.
Piano.
So I like what you're saying about like the discovery because he's walking around like he's running around the office and he hits Macmillan, runs into him with
Yep.
Paul and Susan.
Uh-huh.
Great scene and super important scene
Yep.
because then he has to recognize him at FAO Schwartz later.
He says, "You worked for me, right?" Say,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, I work for you.
what are you
Yeah.
here with your kids or something? I think this might be one of the movies I've watched the most in my
He
whole
and
life.
he's playing laser tag at this point, so he's all kitted out with the laser tag stuff and
Yep,
could be embarrassed, but he's not, which might also impress Robert Loggia in that moment.
100%. So then they walk around.
Mm-hmm.
What's a marketing report? Exactly. That whole thing. Brilliant line.
Yeah, great
Uh,
writing there.
but
Because there
then
you have to write around the fact that he
yeah,
doesn't know what he's talking about, but the fact that he doesn't know what he's talking about impresses everyone.
like, okay, so like if he had been the line that he said and he didn't read it this way was, what's a marketing report? You can't
Yeah.
learn anything from that crap.
Yep.
But it's so innocently, perfectly delivered. Like, Logia must even think like, dang, this guy is smooth.
Yes. It
Like,
comes off as smooth if you didn't know he was 13.
yeah, like had no idea what is a marketing report. But then they stumble on the piano,
Mm-hmm.
and this kind of clicked for me on this last viewing, which is thinking about the fact that piano lessons are something like a middle schooler, elementary middle schooler does.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so like Logia, when he starts to play the piano with him, now they are the same age in nostalgia. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like
They're
that's
relating
actually
around that piano.
yeah, like
Yep.
you know how like when we were just texting like last week about Lord of the Rings
Mm.
and New York Symphony and
Mm-hmm.
all the pieces we used to play in wind ensemble and honors band and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um we all have like a deep connection to music from our youth.
Yeah.
And so I guess I was thinking about that was the moment that I don't know, Macmillan remembered being a kid again
Yeah.
with Josh. And so,
And I think that's what he loves most about Josh,
mm,
which is also wish fulfillment, that somebody would see you and love you for who you are in all of your innocence and who you really. I don't know. The Josh is not 30. He hasn't learned yet to put on a front. He's just
yes.
being who he is.
Hmm.
And so for this older guy to really appreciate that about him, that's really cool. And I hadn't thought about what you're talking about, that it's also they have this immediate deeper connection over the fact that they both learned how to play chopsticks when they were little.
Hmm. Yeah, like piano lessons, like he's like every day after
Yep.
school, which I always
Mm-hmm.
thought was weird. I was like, why did he have piano lessons every day after school? That was kind of weird. So, but yeah, so then he's like, I love the line too where he's like, "You saved me a trip to the gym, son. Like
Uh-huh.
let's go make you a vice principal or
Yeah.
vice principal,
I've
vice
got a
president."
job promotion for you. He doesn't say
Uh
that,
huh.
but that's where they're going at that point.
Data
Yeah.
processing. What?
Ugh.
Yeah.
So it's like it's I love that scene. There's a reason that scene isn't just iconic because of the piano, but it's also what you're saying, that something happens
Yeah.
in the connection of those two guys that's really special. It's a really good scene.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
love it.
Totally. All right. Let me chunk in here, dude.
Chunk.
Dang it. All right, dude. I guess my first evidence. So wish fulfillment, we both had
Yep.
the apartment, the job, the money, the girlfriend, New York City, great
Mm-hmm.
friend.
Yep.
The thing that I've been thinking about a lot on this last viewing, and you're right, like I feel like canon movies like this, like we talked about this with Home Alone. At
Mm-hmm.
one point we were Kevin, then we became the parents, and now we're even getting past that and like just
Yeah.
seeing it
Yep.
as like adults.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is for this, I I was like almost jealous isn't quite the right word. I relate to Susan in her being a ladder climber, like it was on the
Yep.
on the box,
Yeah.
right?
Definitely.
Uh, as like what does she do? She's climbing the ladder. She's trying to get a better job. She's trying to impress people constantly, and like something I've been really digging into in like spiritual practice is like the idea of our false self,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
the false self is something that we build over time by trauma and wounding and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. Um, we become what we think other people want us to be or what we think we should be
Right.
in order to fit into a situation, and that's just it's like a supernatural thing. But Josh comes in as his complete true self,
Yep.
and it's the
Yes.
thing that she likes about him the most. It's the thing that gets him this incredible job, gives him this favor with the president of the company. Is he's actually
Those
just
two characters love that about him.
yeah, that's it. Like and
Yep.
Paul, the dad from Home Alone, John Hurd,
Mm,
it rubs him massively the wrong way. Like he wants to put him in his
definitely.
place, like go play
Yes.
pickleball or whatever that is. Uh
Another great scene where they really
I,
look like two kids. And John
dude,
Hurt isn't even a kid. He's an adult, but the way they fight in that scene is
yeah,
so
he
funny.
cheats. He cheats. like
Yeah.
like oh man, that's so good. Yeah, like he's like you didn't say I had to go over the line on a serve. It's
Hmm.
like, well, yeah, I did. Like that, and even that is like such a kid thing from
Uh-huh.
Josh Baskin.
Yep.
Like that is so and then that's like a weak dumb thing for Paul to do, to be like, no,
Hmm.
I didn't. And I
Hmm.
didn't. But
I
that is
didn't.
totally something that happens when you play games with kids,
Yeah.
right?
You
Like we
revert.
were playing Battleship
Hmm.
and like Isla wants to read through the rules like, and I'm like, well, this is just how you play Battleship. Oh, let's just do it. It's like, well, we got to. So like, I like that Josh was like, well, you didn't say that.
Uh-huh.
So it really rubs Paul the wrong way,
Yeah.
that he is, kind of like naive. He's not cynical. He's authentic.
Yes.
He's
Definitely.
he's comfortable in his own skin, right?
Yeah, the white suit. There's
Dude, yeah.
there's like a moment where he's like, "Oh, I'm not supposed to be wearing this." That's
Right.
there's a tiny moment there, and then he's just like, well, who cares?
Sure. I mean, like, everybody's laughing when he walks in and he
Wait, is
checks
it
his
white or
fly.
blue? Is it a
No,
blue
it's white.
suit? Oh, it's
It's
white. Yeah,
white.
he does check his fly. You're right, because he's like, "What's wrong? This suit rules."
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. And it's Tom Hanks's performance there too, where you as a viewer are like, I wish I was like this. You're
Mm.
charmed by it.
That I think that's what it was on, and I'm sorry that I always do this and I like read too much into like just fun movies, but I was so like honestly taken aback
Mm,
by that, and maybe it's the things that I'm thinking about and going through with work and with career and
sure.
all that stuff, but I'm like I actually am like a joyous,
Mm,
exuberant,
mm-hmm.
excited person,
Mm-hmm.
and okay, let me say this, and maybe we'll edit it out. I had
Okay.
a friend come and sub,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Man, dude, you're like a lot different at work.
Oh,
Nobody's ever gonna listen to this.
what
But like
what did he mean? Or she?
he's like, you're like
Okay.
really serious and
Mm,
quiet,
mm,
and like you don't talk a lot." And he was like, I was kind of struck
mm.
because he knows me as like we make smash burgers together and we
Yeah,
laugh and we listen to Steely Dan and just
sure.
we're gomers, right?
Yeah.
And of course, part of that is context. Part of that is you don't want to be a moron or
Professionalism of your job, all
yeah,
that stuff. Yeah.
wisdom. But
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be honest, man. Like I feel like I'm kind of at an impasse where I would like to be more like who I am. Like not a
Mm-hmm.
goofball,
Mm-hmm.
but like I mean I had somebody tell me when I first started playing in like big orchestras, like, don't be so excited. Like
Wow.
people don't like that.
You have to play it cool.
You have to play it cool. You can't be like, bro, we just played Brahms too, and that was so lit.
Yeah.
Which
Right.
like it's
Which
like,
that
oh,
probably would be annoying, but I
no, no,
understand like
yeah,
what
right,
you're saying, that you have to push who you really are, how you really feel,
yeah. Does
and
does that
hide
make
it. Yeah. Yep, it does.
does
It
that
makes
make
complete sense.
sense? Like, especially when what you do is fun.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and I'm sure a lot of that is me just putting it on myself. But anyways, that is that it really struck a chord maybe with where I'm
Mm,
at, that I do want to be, I kind of want to be like Josh and what you and I were talking about, which is childlike, not childish.
right. There we go. Yeah, in this movie he's more childlike than he is childish. He doesn't he's not petty, right?
Mm.
Which is a childish thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's not whiny, he's not bratty.
No.
He is childlike in all the best ways. Obviously, Penny Marshall and Steven Spielberg's sister wanted
Mm-hmm.
him that way, and so they're writing him and directing him that way. If he had been a petty jerky kid, this movie would not work.
Hmm.
And
Sure.
I wouldn't want to be like him so much. I love that he's childlike in all the positive ways that a kid is.
Yes.
And I want to be
He's a
that
yeah, he's a good kid. Like
good
Josh
kid.
Baskin he's a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I think maybe also it's like there's an innocence and not a cynicism
Yeah.
or something. There isn't the like, you go to work and you punch in
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I don't
Yep.
know.
All the things that other people have gotten used to, he's not used to yet. We
Hmm.
talked a little bit about this on the Disney app, where it's like you never want to lose the ability to be wowed.
Yeah,
You never want to lose pressing into wonder. And when something is wonderful and excellent, you say that rules. And
yeah,
you're affected by it. So like when he gets his first paycheck,
yeah. $187. Yeah,
and there's part of that is because he just doesn't know how much humans make every week.
right.
But another thing is like he's willing to be wowed.
Yeah,
And
yep.
I do think that for a person like Paul, that can be annoying.
Exactly. And so I think the person that said this had my best interest at heart, knowing that maybe I could be childish.
Mm,
I don't know.
sure.
And so like, dude, like don't be that way because it comes off the wrong way or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
So maybe like learning how to marry the two or something
Mm-hmm.
like that
Yeah.
would be a good. Dude, is your mic, is that still indie
What do you mean?
on your, like your microphone has like hair on it?
Oh, does it? I
Yeah.
think it's more like dust. I think
Okay.
it has some
I
hair.
was wondering. I was wondering if.
No, dude, when I got back, yeah, it just might be chewy hair in the air. When I
Okay.
got back from your house, it was like white.
Okay. Because I will send you a new pop filter. You've never been this close to the camera.
I just came up here. I'll
I like
back
it.
up as not to
No, no, it's good.
distract.
I love it. So,
It's a
anyways,
buzz.
that was the thing that really blessed me about it this past time
Mm,
watching it, and
that's
I
awesome.
I, I want to dig into that. So,
Yeah. Um, can I chunk in one more
yeah,
time? This is a lighter one.
got it. I'll
Um,
jump in.
okay. For my final piece of evidence, I present to you, judge and jury, that little piece of baby corn
Mm, nice.
representing just Tom Hanks' performance. We've talked a lot about that, but I think that the direction and the writing gets what it's so funny, and there are just these little set pieces, and
Yeah,
I think that party in particular, he was just allowed to do whatever he wanted, just to pretend to be a little kid
yeah.
and just look around and what will a little kid do.
Uh
But
huh.
that moment when he's eating that baby corn like a big piece of corn because he'd
Uh huh.
never seen a baby corn before,
Yeah.
I don't know, that just hits exactly right for me. So
Yeah.
I was thinking
Yeah.
about what do I put from, is it the white suit? Is it the trampoline that really gets me believing that he's a little kid and he would make the choices that
Yeah.
he's making? But there is nothing like that little piece of corn followed quickly by the caviar.
Love it. Just like spitting it out, like just like choking. Like I love how he spits it out right on the ground, dude. It's incredible.
Right in front of her, right? Isn't that what
Uh huh.
happens? He like
Yeah. Yeah.
basically spits it on her feet.
Uh
And
huh.
she's just like, what is happening? It's that scene is perfect to me.
Yep. I agree.
Uh and the reason maybe the reason I really like that scene most, I hate to keep going back to this, but that they have a date then and they don't. They have a sleepover.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's so insanely innocent.
Yes.
That is absolutely perfect. Like you mean sleepover, you'll be on top, like all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yep.
It's so innocent that it's absolutely perfect. I agree.
Yes. And so I think that then they have to create the tension at the end of the movie, which is he's losing his childhood.
Mm.
And
Hmm.
he now has become an adult and all the bad parts of that. He's a workaholic. He cares about money. He is ignoring his friends. He's forgetting about his parents.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
they have to make that shift. But boy, that center part of the movie when he is just an innocent in
Yeah,
a world of he's a non-anxious presence in an anxious world
exactly.
is
That's exactly
some
it.
the best hour of movie of film up there. It's up there.
Yes.
It's very Elf, right? Like
Yep.
sometimes I think like when Will Ferrell first comes into New York, they probably are like, do whatever you want. Just walk
Hmm.
around and pretend you've never seen any of this before. And so he chews
Yeah.
the gum and he yells at the coffee people and stuff like that. It feels
Yeah.
very much like that to me.
Yep.
And I just I want to put that whole chunk of the movie, but the baby corn exemplifies it for me as my
Yes.
final piece of evidence.
Okay, that's incredible. I love it. I totally agree. Let me chunk in for one more
Awesome.
since we shared the wish fulfillment one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, my last piece of evidence would just be the edit. I've
Oh,
said
right.
this in other contexts, in other
Mm-hmm.
movies. We talked about it in Star Wars Episode 4 in New Hope. I did, not this past time, but a long time ago when I got either the DVD or the Blu-ray.
With extras on it.
Yeah, with the extra scenes. I mean, 20, 26 minutes of extra scenes.
That's nuts.
Yep. And so I actually couldn't find them on YouTube,
Hmm.
and I don't have our Blu-ray player even plugged in anymore.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
because I was gonna watch them, but I don't even know where the HDMI cord is. I mean, I
And
could
you
have
can't play
unplugged
it
the
on your
Apple TV.
Switch. That's cartridge. Right. So you have no
Oh
way
yeah.
to play a Blu-ray right now.
No. I mean, it would take me like 2 minutes, but I didn't.
Not worth it.
No. Uh it is a way worse movie in the extended cut. And
26 minutes.
yeah,
Jeez.
it's like one of the first times that I watched an extended cut and felt worse about the movie afterwards. Like I was like,
Okay. Yeah.
because like poor, like Billy's family is really messed up. His family life is really
Oh,
dark and awful.
okay.
Um, I think his mom is Kate Winslet's mom from Titanic,
Oh,
if I'm remembering right. But she's like
Billy's mom
smoke
is.
Billy's
Huh.
mom. What did I say?
No, I was thinking Josh, but you said his.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Billy's
Billy's
mom.
mom.
Yep.
And she's like smoking at the table, and it's just
Mm.
like
Brings
remember
it
when
down.
is it down?
No, I was just saying, does it bring it down?
Yeah, yeah.
The whole.
It just
Yep.
brings it down and kind of
Mm-hmm.
changes the whole tone.
Hmm.
I think I remember there being more development of Susan, which would be cool, but I don't think it really added.
Okay. Yeah.
I just remember it being down. So like this thing is tight. I think it's a pretty well edited movie, minus the Strickens we've talked about.
Yeah.
It's funny,
Yep.
it flows.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the edit's really good.
What is it? 104 minutes. So
144.
yeah, that's an hour 44. If they had added, so
Or
that would
hour
have been
44, sorry.
210.
Yeah.
Dude, you know me. Forget that
Mm-hmm.
crap. Pull it
Yep.
in under 2 hours. And we've said this a lot of times before. Sometimes that magic is in the edit.
Yep.
To knowing what not to put in. I actually read somewhere, I don't know if it was recently, but a while ago, because sometimes you just read about big in your free time, that
Right.
Tom Hanks and Elizabeth Perkins were like, I think this sucks. Like
Yes.
they
Okay. I
might put
remember.
this straight to
Yep.
video or something.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And
Like, yeah.
so if what you're saying is that those deleted scenes bring the movie down, I'm not surprised that they would think that way.
Yep.
And then they would see the movie and they'd be pleasantly surprised because some of the stuff that sucked just isn't in there.
Yep. Oh, good. Thank you for cutting that out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't even
So
get how you know when you're filming a movie whether it's going to be good or not.
I know. And how do you know that this scene may be cut?
Uh-huh.
And so we're gonna make sure, because you know how like sometimes like cut scenes have like important exposition or plot or
Yep.
tie things together.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're going into a scene, you have to be like, this may be important or it may not, but we also need to make sure that we don't have it be so crucial that it can't be cut.
Right. Yep. Yeah. I just don't know how in real time you can tell if it's working. And so my assumption is that there was I guess I get it that Tom Hanks and Elizabeth Perkins were like, I don't know if it's good. We did it, but
Is
I don't
this
know if it's
E.T.
good.
or Mac and Me? I can't tell.
I remember speaking of DVD extras, watching a DVD extra after attached to School of Rock, where Jack Black
Mm.
was talking about the scene where he does that a cappella song in front of the classroom when the rent
Yeah.
was way past due, and he's
Yeah.
like, we did that 100 times, and by
Uh-huh.
the end I'm doing it and it's just silent in the room, nobody's laughing, none of the crew are smiling, and you just have to put your all into it thinking, actually now this kind of sucks, will it play? And then when you see it for the first time in the theater as a moviegoer, you're like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen, but
Yeah.
how do they know
Yeah, it was
anymore?
the original Apple TV promo. Remember?
Mm,
Like, I think when
the
you
1984
first
one.
saw, yeah, when you first saw
Yep.
an Apple TV, like the actual physical box
Oh, I see what
next
you
to
mean.
a big screen
Yep.
TV, they're playing that scene.
Yeah.
I think. Pretty sure.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
you just never know what's going to work out. So that's why I'm like, the editors, I wonder, I haven't done a lot of research on what editors do and how they do it, but if I was an editor, I would want to come into the movie for the first time after it was done. So I wouldn't be influenced by what's good and what's not by the 100 times they did it that I've seen
Mm,
it.
yep.
So I wonder if the best editors see it and are like, outside looking in, this scene works and this scene doesn't, so get rid of that scene.
Dang. Yeah, nothing is precious.
Right. There we
Like
go.
when you're a director or a writer or an actor or a musician or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, it's like every take. I mean,
Yep.
I even remember Larry David talking about that with Curb Your Enthusiasm. He's
Mm.
like, we have hours
Yeah.
on the like in film,
Mm-hmm.
but this show can only be 42 minutes long or 28, 22 or whatever it was, because
Yeah.
every scene is multiple times and you have multiple takes. And
Mm.
Susie said something hilarious in this one,
Yep.
and Jeff Garland said something here.
Yeah.
Ted Danson had an improvised line that was brilliant, but we can't put it in. So it's like
Yep.
even like leaving. So in this movie, like honestly, the stuff that they cut out, I didn't like any of it.
Mm.
Actually, there was a scene where they try. I remember the scene of trying on the tuxedos.
Oh, okay.
That was cool,
That sounds
maybe
funny.
reminiscent of like Dumb and Dumber or something like that.
Okay.
Um, and then I don't know if I have ever actually seen this, but the potential alternate ending.
Oh, right.
I
Yes.
still, so I don't know if I've heard about it so many times and I've played it in my mind, or if I have actually seen it.
That's weird. But I understand what you're
You know
saying.
what I mean? So like
Yeah.
it's the she goes back to Zoltar and wishes to be a kid again.
There is that moment where he suggests that to her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could come with me. And she says, I would never. I've already lived through it once. I wouldn't do it again.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're
Yeah.
saying is that you heard at some point, or that there is an ending where that happens?
I heard that there was an alternate ending where
Okay.
they actually filmed it, and it's David Moscow, young Josh in the classroom, and there's a new girl
Uh-huh. I'm reading
comes
that
to
right now.
school,
Yep.
and it's Susan.
Okay.
I'm Steve Cecil at a younger age.
So I'm reading this, what you're saying. Alternate ending allegedly shows young Josh sitting in his classroom at school, turns around, notices a young female classmate whom he recognized. Oh, this, listen to this sentence. Obviously an IMDb needed blastings. Shows young Josh sitting in his classroom at school when he turns around to notice a young female classmate who he recognizes as Susan, who went back to the fairground machine and wished that she was Josh's age. Bad grammar and writing aside, that kind of gave me goosebumps.
Hmm.
I I think that's kind of a sweet little ending.
Okay, so but then what do? They're 13?
Where's she gonna stay?
Yeah.
Book me at the St. James.
Yeah, like where's her family? Like,
That might be why they wouldn't do that, because there's too many questions of like, well, is she gonna live with Josh?
right. Yeah, like a Back to the Future situation. Like, well, he can just stay with us.
He can sleep in my bed.
Oh gosh.
uh the we've got the better ending, I think, which is him and Billy reconnecting.
I love it. Yep. That the line that hit me this time around also was, I got a deadline to meet. Gosh. Like
Yeah.
he's become like, I'm your best friend. What's more important than that is what Billy says, right? And
Yep.
like that was the thing that he was like,
Mm-hmm.
it triggered something in him. Like, wait, I'm just a kid, dude.
Yep. 3 years later, we see this in Hook, right? You're
Yep.
missing it. The "you're missing it" speech.
Yep.
What's more important, your relationships or your work? I mean, this is Anthony's bread and butter. You
Oh,
love this
this
stuff. I
is
do
it.
too, but I'm not
This is it.
surprised.
I know. It's like it's
Woo.
like I got a deadline to meet. Gosh, I got a concert. I got reads. I got
Mhm.
like, but I just want to play.
And so the fact that they have like those stick ball bats, they're
Mm,
walking down the street. You hear not chopsticks, but
heart and soul.
Heart and Soul
Yep.
comes over. Okay. The Howard Shore score is
Mm.
matched to that.
Oh, so good.
What an ending.
Yep.
So I can see an ending where they fade out because there's a young Susan in his classroom, but we got the better ending.
Nope, you're totally right. The friendship ending. We're gonna
Yes.
re-enter our
Mm-hmm.
childhood for 5 more years, and
Yep.
then we'll go back and we'll find Susan, find work, find
Wait a minute. Are you saying that once I'm 18, I'm gonna go look for Susan?
No. Where I mean, like the postscript of this movie makes no sense.
Yep.
Like, because like Macmillan is like, where is Josh?
Wait a minute.
Like,
It just like
totally.
disappears. This
I
this
know,
is the
like,
guy's MO, is just he disappears from everywhere
yeah,
he is.
like what happens to the apartment?
Uh-huh.
Uh, yep. Oh, dude, I thought of this. What if in Toy Story,
Mm.
like Woody was like, it had like a little Macmillan toys on it or something like that? That would have been
Oh.
cool.
Oh, that would have been cool. I love it. Or one of the toys in the room. Because you do see some
Yes.
Mattel stuff, but what if there was a
Yes.
Macmillan thing? Mm.
Yep.
Oh, I would have loved that.
Or like the
Because they do
bugs. Let's
that
make it a
with
bug.
the home improvement tool company, which I'm not going to
Oh
remember what
yeah.
the tools are, but that's on the
The
tool.
Binford.
Yeah. Binford Tools is on the toolbox that is trapping him in that.
No way. I
Yeah.
don't remember that. That's
So that would have
incredible.
been awesome if there had been a Macmillan Toys
Just a
stamp
little
on.
Macmillan logo would have been
Yep.
like, it would have been good.
Or that like really lame building transformer is in the corner.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I love that scene because he's like this. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
I don't
don't
get
get
it.
it. It's so good.
I don't get it. Yep. That's up for in the Girls with Us line readings that made us. That
Uh-huh.
is up with my bike, I want my bike.
Oh, what's that from?
It's Goonies.
Oh yeah. My bike, my bike. That little girl comes out because Thanos is
Yeah.
driving her bike away. My
Yeah.
bike, I want my bike. All right. Listener, it's up to you. We love this movie. We're curious what the result's going to be. Go to our Instagram, instagram.com/2gomers. Social media guru Annie is going to put up a poll. You get to vote on whether or not this movie is perfect or not. And then we'll come back in a couple weeks with the big results show. Thanks, Webmaster Adam, Jason for our graphics, Davis for our music, and the aforementioned Annie for our social media. Like we were saying, our next movie next month, partner to Wrathacon, Star Trek 2.
Can't
We're
wait,
really
dude.
going to save Khan this time.
Yes. We must. And maybe we'll get some of our listeners to actually watch a Star Trek movie. I wonder.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great one to start on, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's
Don't
as
start with the original picture, original
no,
motion
don't do that.
picture. No.
No, don't do that.
I mean, it's pretty.
I mean, I love it, but it's an incredible nap movie. It's like perfect nap movie.
Great.
Perfect.
Great definition of that movie. Rathacon, exciting, funny.
Yep.
All of a sudden they have personalities. Oh boy,
Yep.
that's good.
It's great.
Yep. Any crossover between Big and Star Trek? Tom Hanks was never in a Star Trek movie.
There is Rebecca Howe from Cheers.
Kirstie Alley, yes.
Kirstie Alley.
But
Was there ever Kirstie Alley
in
and
Big.
Tom Hanks?
Oh, Tom Hanks and no, but Travolta and Kirstie Alley and Look Who's Talking.
Yep.
We did it.
Yep.
I don't know what
Yeah.
we did there, but we did it. All right, dude. What a movie.
Dude, that was super fun. Thanks for chatting through that. Let's bring on that second naivete a little bit.
Love it.
Be our true selves. Let's bring out our inner Josh Baskin
Yep.
a little bit. The inner Stephen and Anthony, of course, is what I mean.
Never lose the wonder. Keep wowing. Big. All right, dude. Great up.
Super fun, man.
And happy watching Star Trek II Partner to the Rathacon.
Amazing.
Right.
All right, let's stop that. 1, 2, 3, stop. Nice, dude. And we almost got it under the wire. And dude, I'm sorry I
Perfect.
wasn't laughing for the last 5 minutes. I have to whiz so bad.
I didn't notice. All right. Okay. Bye, everybody. Anthony's got a whiz so bad.